everything I would change about the LifePro two-person sauna. I've tested more than 40 sauna models over the years, and the one thing I've learned is that there is no perfect sauna. Even some of my favorite saunas have things I would change if I could. So I thought it would be fun to start a series where I break down some of the best saunas on the market and tell you exactly what I would improve if it were my company. Now, before we get started, just because I would change something doesn't mean it's a bad sauna. In fact, most of the saunas I'll be covering in this series are saunas that I actively recommend. But after years of testing and comparing saunas, I've developed some pretty strong opinions about what makes a great sauna. And if manufacturers actually listened to some of these recommendations, I genuinely think the entire industry would be better because of it. So today is everything I would change about the LifePro two-person sauna. Not to be confused with the one person, it's a totally different beast. To start off with a couple things that I really like about the LifePro. The look of it is phenomenal. The design elements that they've incorporated compared to other stuff you see on Amazon in the $2,000 or $2,500 price range, because that's the category that this is in. So it's a little bit different. They're not gonna have some of the tech. There's not gonna be smartphone app controllers. There's not gonna be, built-in features like there are in the $5,000 to $7,000 price range. However, it looks like to me LifePro went above and beyond trying to design something that was aesthetically appealing, has like a fresh new gymmy kind of look. It's great, and they also beefed up the walls. The walls are 1.5 inches thick. They're not solid walls, so it's still really lightweight. Some of the build quality stuff isn't amazing, but compared to other things in that price range, it stands out in that department. Some other things that I liked might seem insignificant to a lot of people, but control panel. Control panel was a huge upgrade. A lot of times if you use the ancient dinosaur push button control panel, it doesn't have like an LED readout. It can be harder to see. If you turn on chromotherapy lights, or if you in our case, if you're using a camera and stuff, all of a sudden the lens can't pick up the temperature and it looks blank, and it's like, people are freaking out. Oh, why isn't this thing working? Da, da, da. This one, much improved. When I first unboxed it, I did not like the chromotherapy lights on the wall because they were above my head. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why would you do this? But after using it, they actually create a really nice ambiance, and they're higher quality than a lot of chromotherapy lights that you see in other saunas. Heater layout, a little bit hit or miss for me. It could be worse. Some of the Amazon and Costco saunas, are missing the floor heater altogether. This particular model, missing a little bit of floor heat. Sidewall heaters don't go all the way to the floor. I'd really like to see a front wall heater on the angled portion of the wood that they maintain on the front glass. But in this price range though, these are par for the course, style of build. So now that I've told you everything that I like, I think we actually have some legitimate complaints with this particular model. So here's everything that I would personally change if I were redesigning the LifePro 2. Number one on the list, trumps everything else, is the way the sauna assembles. I've never not finished putting a sauna together before in my life. But this one, I tried to put a pry bar on the bottom, but ended up chipping the piece. There's a bunch of brands where I complain about this, and right now you're gonna see why. The assembly process of this sucker. I have a dedicated video, we don't have to beat a dead horse, but if you go watch it, it's me struggling. Yes, for a second, I thought the guys were playing a joke on me because they knew I was gonna be alone that day, and I think they spread Crisco all over the floor and the sauna components so nothing would stay in place. But if you watch the video, you can see me struggling trying to get the 3 walls to stay together. And when it comes time to put the front wall on, man. These floating floor design saunas where the floor is independent of the actual walls, so the walls sit on the floor and then the floor sits on the floor, there's nothing that locks anything together. So you have 2 front walls and you go to put the door piece on, the door wall in the front. These flop. There's no way that you can line this up, especially not by yourself. And even with 2 people, it's kind of a nightmare. So the first thing that I would change is I would stop making this a floating floor design, and I would make it a channeled floor design, which means there's a groove in the floor that the walls sit in, and once they're placed, they're locked. They can't go anywhere. It's basically just a recess. So most saunas on the market are built with a non-floating floor, recessed floor design, and I much prefer that. I struggled with this sauna probably more than I've struggled with most any other one in the last 5 years. It really gave me some trouble. I was cussing and making my own design changes as we're doing it. I was ready to get a sledgehammer. And the craziest part to me is that the one-person LifePro that I've been recommending and using, and tons of people in our Facebook group, there's 47,000 people in there. A bunch of them have it. This is not like that with the one-person LifePro. It doesn't have a floating floor. I put it together by myself with no additional help in like 15 minutes. Yeah, it has the little claspy things that I don't like and this, that, and the other. But for $1,700, $1,800, it was way better than the Costco. It was way better than the Amazon, the Sam's Club thing that everybody posts. It just destroyed all those things. Super easy to put together. Amazing heater layout. It had floor heaters, sidewall leg heaters all the way to the floor. I mean, just intense heat performance. Didn't have a fancy, control panel or lights or all this stuff. But for the price, I mean, game changer in its class. This thing, not so much. It's almost like two different companies designed or built, the two models. So I want to make a special point when we do the review videos, because some people are just like, oh, LifePro is bad. Well, I don't see it that way, because for years I've had a great experience with the one person. Now I try, a different model, totally different design, totally different assembly process, totally different internals, heaters, layout, control, everything. So if I were redesigning this sauna today, number one has to be no floating floor and no, front wall attachment the way that they have the latches. It just doesn't work well for me. Second thing is just as bad as the first, but it's probably going to impact you more because it has to do with your sweat session. It's got to be the heater layout. The LifePro 2 should really mirror the heater layout exactly to the LifePro 1. And if not, they need to add a heater to the front wall to make up for the lack of heat in those blue zones. And by blue zones, if you look at my channel and look at the sauna reviews, you'll see something called FLIR footage, which is a thermographic infrared camera lens. And it shows you where the heat accumulates and where there's a lack of it. So a blue zone is no heat, it's a cold zone. Red, orange, yellow, those are all the hot zones. Usually there's a temperature readout on the screen, so as the probe moves around, you can see where the hot points are. What this does is contributes to how the sauna heats up and surrounds your body with heat. If there's too many blue zones, you're gonna have cold spots. You're gonna have areas like when I use this, my feet are cold and dry. I'm not getting a good sweat on my lower half. So for me, I would adjust that, I would change that, or I would overcome that with additional heat on the front wall to make up for it. So if I could do anything, if I could only do one thing in this sauna and I couldn't fix the installation or the assembly process, I would either mimic the heater layout of the one-person LifePro, or I'd put a heater on the front wall to compensate for it. And the last thing is kind of like a build quality slash longevity type assessment. If you look at the install video, I really struggled with the door seal. It was not delivered, correctly installed. It also, the way the door catch works, the door just closes with a sill that hits a piece of glass next to it. There's not actually a wood support. So that flops over time. It hasn't been as big of an issue as I thought. It just doesn't give me peace of mind when I go to grab the door and the whole glass wall, kind of moves or bounces. Maybe it's not an issue long term, but if it is, it would be something that I would address and make sure that it's not. Another build quality or a design point would be the red lights on the wall. It's a little weird that they're over your head and pointed, horizontally, mounted fixed on a vertical plane. That's very odd to me. I would put them in the ceiling, pointed down. I don't think you're actually going to get photobiomodulation from those. A lot of people say that these are red light therapy LEDs, but if you look at PubMed research, it takes a lot more output than some low wattage, LEDs to generate significant photobiomodulation at this type of distance. So for me, I would either adjust that, make it work better, or at least make it look a little better. Yeah, and that's an important point to throw in too. I'd probably change the marketing behind it a little bit. First of all, I wouldn't say that it's a low EMF sauna, because we tested it and it's not. Some people don't care about that, but still. The second thing I would change is, if any brochure says that it has red light therapy or this, that, and the other, I don't think you're getting meaningful red light therapy. This isn't a dig at LifePro. This is a rampant thing across the entire sauna industry, where a lot of companies just throw a low wattage LED in the ceiling, which is mood lighting chromotherapy, and they call it red light therapy. Not the end of the world, but not going to give you therapeutic benefit if you're looking to target a specific condition with true red light therapy. Ultimately, what this really boils down to, because I still love the LifePro brand, is that when I'm paying for something, or when you're paying for something, it needs to do what it actually says that it's going to do. And so a lot of these design elements, a lot of these changes from these videos, it's just me being frank, where if I had full control, if these were my companies to redesign these products, this is what I would do. It doesn't make them bad products. For some people, it's the right fit and you should buy it. But you deserve to know, all the points. This is an opinion-based channel, and that's what we do here. I'm Matt. We'll see you in the next video.